Alright, we are back. Last game of the last series of the day. It is the Winners Bracket Finals for Gold Cycle 6. Dawn taking on CoolIo, as we've evened this series up one game apiece, and that means we are down to it. This game is going to decide which of these teams will be advancing to Diamond Division and which team will have to drop to the Losers Bracket, where they will still get another opportunity to do so, but it's going to be harder. They're going to have to pass through another team in order to get back. And that team will be... I forget which one. Anyway. It's fine. It's not important. So, obviously well into the draft right here, as Legion side have banned out Parasite and Magmus. So, Labyrinth feeling like Archie Tiger's Parasite and the Omega's Magmus were pretty serious problems last game. Don't want to deal with them again. And Hellborn going with the Cthulhu and Ophelia ban, so once again the Cancer Fint getting taken out of the pool, and Iceland Gogo's Ophelia getting removed because they don't want to give him the hero he is most comfortable with. Legion side will start things off with Swiftblade, Kraken, and Empath. So Skillblade unbanned again, and that will be picked up again. Kraken, once again going in the hands of Labyrinth, and Empath presumably will go to Yugobic, so they stop the Empath counter potential from the Hellborn team and pick the hero up for themselves. Tempest, NG, and Prisoner will be the first three selections for the Legion team. So they're going pretty heavy on that team fight once again, trying to stack up ultimates. And if they can get the Wombo combo going, they can do a crap ton of damage and kill some people real fast. But at this point, it's going to be hard to do. And the thing that I'm more concerned about, in fact, is where their individual damage is going to come out from. Prisoner can right-click pretty hard, but he also gets he gets kited pretty easily, even with Shackle and Hook, and the Portal Key, just because his attack speed isn't all that good. Meanwhile, Tempest doesn't do too much damage, and Engineer can do a fair bit, but he has a lot of skill shots, which means that it's pretty damn easy for him to do nothing at all, essentially. And you compare that to the Legion side, lots of damage coming out from Swiftblade, especially more when we see Empath get in there, and Kraken can provide a fair bit as well. They do lack a little bit of a lockdown that the Hellborn team have, though, so we'll see if each side can address their weaknesses here in this second stage of picks. But the second stage of bans are starting to come out anyway. Puppet Master, Ravener, and Dr. Repulsor can be removed by Labyrinth, so similar bans, and once again addressing Marcus Moy pretty heavily. Feeling like if they can ban him out, they can do a lot, and obviously Marcus Moy has no hero yet, so that's going to be pretty easy to do. Archie Tiger taking out Silhouette, Kronos, and a third hero, which we don't know yet because he hasn't banned it. So, banning out the Silhouette, actually kind of interesting. Probusk plays a mean Silhouette, but so does Marcus Moy, so maybe they're figuring the Legion have the first pick out of the second stage. They don't want to let Probusk get his hands on Silhouette, although once again, that would be the classic Dawn greed that CoolIo managed to punish pretty heavily last game, so feels like if they manage to figure this thing out, then they should be able to continue to employ that strategy if the Legion try to go for the Silhouette plus Swiftblade plus Kraken, which is a lot of heroes that need farm. And could potentially be too many heroes that need farm, but Clank's going to be the last ban right there, so don't want to let Probusk get one of those heroes, but Revenant will be the pick here, and I assume that's a support. I'm really liking, let's see, for the Legion side, Soul Stealer. For Hellborn, I'm thinking Dark Lady, as far as their core heroes go. Hellborn likely looking for a suicide option as well. Bubbles is there, and that would be my expectation for their last pick. Could be either picked now or last, because potentially you could see the Legion side going for the Bubbles as well. You could see a dual support lineup here, and I think that's what's going to happen with the Revenant. I doubt they're going to pick up a jungler here, because I don't think Iceland is particularly comfortable on any of the non-traditional junglers, and they'd rather have him play the Emp, but it's going to be a Hag, which is really interesting, and I hope that's a short lane Hag. I'm not sure, but I really hope so, especially because this is dual support lineup, and there is a Swiftblade, and that's a really good opportunity to drop a tri-lane, and Hag would get destroyed by that, so my hope and my guess is that this is going to be a Marcus Moy short lane Hag, and I'm going to guess that the Legion side are going to go for something a little bit more aggressive here, so I think the Soul Stealer would be good. The problem is it would leave them a little short on lockdown and general CC tools, so I kind of hope they don't go for that. It's going to be the Chipper. That's interesting. That's being swapped to Probusk here, too, so I don't know if I've seen Time Jedi play Chipper, Okay, Swiftblade getting a Probusk here, and Labyrinth might be playing. So we might be playing a Suicide Kraken, mid Chipper, and short lane Swifty with Iceland on the second support Revenant and Uabik on the hard support Empath. And so Probusk not going to be put in the uber greed position right here, especially and also on a hero that can do a fair bit if he gets shut down. So Dawn realizing what went wrong with their last game and saying, fine, you want to do that again? I will let you do that again, but you're going to get hurt for it. And we're also going to protect the Swiftblade a lot more than we did last game, presumably with a safe lane tri-lane or an aggressive tri-lane. Could be either or. Madman can be our last pick. I gotta say I don't like either of those selections. I feel like those are two carry heroes that have precious little CC, and they are heavily mobile on the Hellborn team, which is gonna be annoying. But I really would have liked Dark Lady or a Soul Stealer instead of the Hag, I think. Suicide Madman is perfectly fine. Well, not even that. I would have liked the Bubbles and the Soul Stealer TDL. I really, really would have. Because, sure, Swifty will just spin straight through Kelp Field, but it's going to screw with the rest of this Legion team something fierce. And I don't like their lack of CC, to be honest. I mean, they've got one stun, really. They have one targeted stun, and that's the Tempest Glacial Blast, which is not that good a stun. It's a good stun, but it's not that good a stun. I don't know. I don't know about that. I like the Legion's last pick, so I like the Legion draft a little bit more here. I think the Hellborn still have a lot of potential, but it's going to rely a lot on this Prisoner. I mean, Omega's Prisoner is going to have to make some pretty significant plays and is going to have some pretty great initiations for this to work, because Hag cannot initiate team fights, Tempest can't really do so either, Engineer can't because he's not going to have a portal key, and Madman definitely can't. So if Prisoner can find the right jumps at the right times and set stuff up for the big Tempest holes, for the Bat Blast, and for the Energy Field, and for Madman to go crazy in these team fights, then there's a lot of potential for this Hellborn team to do a lot of damage. But if they can't find that jump, then I worry about how things will go for them. The Legion side, meanwhile, have a couple of potential initiators in both Kraken and Chipper, although Probusk playing the Chipper. Oh god, they switched it. Okay. Probusk is playing Chipper, Labyrinth is playing the Swiftblade, and Time to Die is once again playing the Kraken. So I am unsure as to how they are going to lane this. It's going to be the Suicide Kraken, which I'm a little iffy with, up against a Prisoner short lane with the NG. I think the Legion side figured that this is going to be a short lane Hag, and in fact it's going to be a mid Hag. And I think that these are good lanes coming out from the Hellborn team, in fact, because Hag is just not going to get punished by this lane at all. She's not going to get all that much, to be honest, and that's going to be a bit of a problem, but she's not going to die unless she misplays pretty severely. And she should be able to, at the very least, leech experience quite heavily. In the bottom lane, though, Madman could be in some trouble. Revenant does enough damage quickly enough, especially with Mortification, that Madman could have some problems staying in this lane and even getting experience. You see him already taking a mana pot. That is his only mana pot, as he's used the stock a couple of times to get some CS. So he's at 470 gold. He must have been pulled a bunch of regen, so he's going to go for an early bottle right here and continuously trying to use the stock to stay in lane, get experience, get CS. And I'm going to get forced a little bit by this Revenant, but yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm not all that optimistic, to be honest. In this bottom lane. And so in general, I'm kind of worried. Oh, Kegston is going to connect on the Empath here. They just don't have the damage, though. So, yeah, she'll be just fine. These really weird lanes from the Hellborn team. I mean, to be fair, the Legion are running a dual lane, short lane Chipper in Probusk's hands, so it's not like that's something we see a ton of either. But, oh shit, Legion's courier dies, oh no! Oh, that's bad, and that's why you buy upgraded couriers, people, especially when you have a dual support lineup. I don't understand why people don't upgrade their couriers earlier than this. Like, you should be able to do it even if you have a solo support lineup. It's not that hard, and now somebody has to go back to base and buy a new courier for the same price as it would have cost them to keep that one alive and get it flying. So that's really bad, but Cat Lo Mein, nice pick off there, and that's going to do a lot, in fact, because it means that they can't ferry regen to this bottom lane. Not that I need that much effort. Dust Relation does get popped, so Madman's going to be in a lot of trouble actually here. He's going to eat some rockets, and he's definitely falling. Bloodlust goes to Iceland on the Revenant, and that's probably going to be his cue to head back to the base, buy a courier, and come back to this bottom lane, because Chipper doesn't need him in the meantime. So he's going to stack the camp, is my guess. Stack the camp. There you go. Then walk all the way back to the base, pick up a courier, and head back to the bottom lane. Middle, it looks like they have made the rotation on the Hellborn team, and they will send the dual mid of Prisoner and Engie up against the Switchblade and Empath lane. Yeah, but it's not the same price anymore, but this game was played before the big patch. So, it is in fact 200 gold for the courier. Anyway, top lane, and it will end up being the Kraken versus Hag lane, but now Time to Die actually has a level advantage, and he has 200 GPM, so it's going to be difficult for Hag to box him out, even with the Haunt, as he only has level 1 at Haunt, but Time to Die should get some pretty solid farm up here. Suicide Kraken, not a hero that really works out all that well in general. The best situation for him is a 1 versus 1 melee, which is not this, but this is as close to perfect as it gets. So it's fine. And I expect him to do just dandy in this top lane, probably somewhere around 250 GPM, and you can see him approaching that mark right now. If he does even better than that, I will be suitably impressed. Bottom lane, Dust of Revelation goes out once again onto this Madman. We'll see if they actually have any lockdown to follow him and finish him up. Yes, they do. Madman, no chance that you're getting away from that there, feller. Probus ends up getting the last hit this time, and it is 2 kills on Cat Lo Mein in this bottom. So, a little bit reminiscent of Game 1, when Probusk is getting kills on Cat Lo Mein in the short lane, and that went horribly for the Hellborn team. So, suffice to say they don't want a repeat of that, and I think at this point Cat Lo Mein either needs help, or he needs to stop going to this bottom lane, because they've clearly indicated they're willing to buy Dust to kill this Madman, and that they can kill this Madman. And so he either needs some sort of ward or something. Anyway, middle lane. And we'll try to get the jump here on Prisoner. Essence Link Stun is there as well. And yeah, no way Prisoner's getting out of that one. Wall is even dropped to make sure that they get the kill. And it is Yugobig that picks it up with that wall. So the support's getting some kills here. And that's actually pretty solid. So it's unfortunate that Labyrinth can't increase his GPM. But it's going to prevent things like 25-minute boots on Empath. like last game. So, PSA to all you core players, all you carry players, let your supports get a little bit of something, you know? A little bit of something. Get them some boosts, get them some striders. They'll love you forever for it, and it'll help you in the long run, trust me. It's better. It's better if you don't have a support that's just constantly dying because they can't outrun anything, and that can help you gank. Yeah, so top lane once again, 250 GPM on this Kraken, just about where I'd expect him to be. And actually Marcus Moy having just an awful time. 200 gold per minute on him. And this is sort of the problem with Wretched Hag right now, is she's solid in a suicide 1v1 matchup. And when we used to see constant dual mids and jungles, she was good. Double damage June on Cat Lo Mein, by the way, and actually Empath could be in some trouble here, but she's going to get rotation help from her team. There's a Swift Slash as well as the Dust of Revelation, and Cat Lo Mein going to fall for a 3rd time. So this Suicide Madman is just not working, and it's part of the reason I felt like I don't like Madman in this game is his lane presence can sometimes be iffy, especially against a dual ranged lane here, and if you buy Dust, he will die, and he's dying because they bought Dust. So this is one of the situations, again, I feel like Bubbles would have been great. You can dodge Chipper Rockets, so anyway, Swifty gonna dodge the Keg with the spin, and he will be just fine. And at the very least, a Suicide Hag might have had some more success. I kind of doubt it, but maybe. I don't know. I don't like either the Hag or the Madman pick, to be honest. And For good reason, apparently, because neither of them is doing particularly well. Archtiger actually having some issues in the jungle as well. He wasn't really contested by any means, but still it's 230 GPM, 225 now. He's actually looking for a kill onto this Kraken, but they might not be able to find it. There's 930 health in this crack. And it's just, damn, I don't think they have the damage to do it, so Archtiger going to return to the jungle, continue to farm. He has his Ring of Sorcery now, so should be able to pick up his GPM relatively quickly. Nonetheless, kind of low compared to where you want to be at this timing if you're Tempest. And because of a very poor mid, and a very poor top, and a very poor bot, Dawn have a substantial golden experience lead despite the fact that they're running against a jungler. And usually what happens with a jungle lineup is you end up pretty even on gold because the jungle team, or jungle versus non-jungle, the jungle team loses 2 lanes and wins 1. But they get the jungle farm as opposed to the support farm, and then they end up ahead on experience because they're farming additional creeps. So that's not exactly what's happening here, as Dawn's opening up a pretty good lead. And as we saw in Game 1, or as we didn't even see in Game 1, but I would say that's not something you want to do. As we saw in Game 1, Probusk does well when given farm, and Dawn does well when Probusk is given farm. So try to avoid that a little bit more than you have been in this game, where he's at 385 GPM. And then if you have a mediocre laning phase, again, Game 1, but Probusk isn't shut down, Dawn will win. So how do you think things are going to go when Dawn has a good laning phase? Just saying. Game 2, mediocre laning phase for both teams, but Probusk was shut down, CoolIo wins. Game 1, mediocre laning phase for both teams, Probusk was not shut down, Dawn wins. Game 3, great laning phase for Dawn. And it's pretty clear where that could potentially end up for this Hellborn team. Now, their advantage is, I suppose, they don't need that much in terms of farm. What they really need is levels. So it's a problem that they're falling behind a little bit on levels too, but at least they're getting something anyway. Release the Kraken on the top lane, but Archtiger are going to die here. They try to kill the Kraken, but they're actually going to charge Madman back in and get a kill on that as well. So time to die, eating a bunch of damage, and like I said, this Kraken too tanky. He's got nearly 2,000 health, sub 10 minutes. Focus buffer as well. Middle lane, Prisoner ultimate on Swiftblade, so that's going to pull him back in. He's still going to get the kill on Engineer. It is a superior magic stun, so it goes for the spin, but not enough to save Adro, as it looks like the Omega was a little bit low, or a little bit late on getting that ulti off and trying to save his buddy. So kills happening in a couple of more lanes, and Dawn opening up a 7-0 advantage over CoolIo. They're up nearly 5k gold and barely under 5k experience. And this is not where you want to be. You really need to find a pick somewhere. Tempest can drop Ward of Sight in the top lane. Invis on Wretched Hag will immediately be broken, more or less. And Shackle on Swiftblade really not doing too much as Labyrinth goes back for a CS. So he's at 320 GPM. Chipper is at 420. So not only do you not want to shut down Probusk early, but Chipper is a hero that you want to shut down early, because this hero will snowball, and it will kill a lot of your team if you let it. And again, Hellborn, not particularly tanky. Their tankiest hero is Prisoner, who can absorb some damage, but not nearly enough to compensate for what's going to come out between Revenant and Chipper and potentially Kraken. So they got to do something in this bottom lane, and they're just not. They're going to send Catelyn back here, because apparently the best thing to do when you've split your skull open from banging it against the wall is keep banging, because eventually you'll bring that wall down. Or die from brain trauma. But only one of those involves bringing a wall down. Please, don't play smarter and go get a sledgehammer or anything like that. Top lane, Kraken could be in some trouble. Eats a keg stun as well as Glacial Blast. Gets the charge off. At least Kraken actually hits 3 heroes, as they will all get hit there, and he survives. Bottom lane, Catelyn. Stop me if you've heard this before, but he's gonna die. We can obviously go back to don't have a co-caster, but hey look, it's a bunch of rockets. Anyway, apparently Prisoner's gonna be using an ultimate soon. And I don't know, he just said I am free at last. Maybe he's not going to use an ultimate. I'm sorry. Now, you can't do that. Look, Calamane's died 5 times now. At what point are you going to learn your lesson? Well, nice wall there. Going to give vision for the Swift Slashes. The Empath stun is there also. Prisoner going to fall. We have a 3-man rotation here. Empath going to get inside of the Swift Blade. Bat Blast actually not doing all that much damage, but I think they have enough to finish off Swift Blade right here. Here comes Chipper. There's going to be 1 kill onto the Tempest. He's going to double damage active because why not? Wretched Hag has enough to blink away. And Chipper wants to continue chasing this. Engineer takes on will connect though, and that's going to save Marcus Moy for the meantime. Meanwhile, Madman in the background with the stock active, trying to run around and prevent himself from dying. There's a Word of Rev right on top of him, but they don't have anything to really get a kill. So, at the very least, they pick off somebody in the form of Labyrinth. And it was a really nice TP rotation there as they dove a tower on the Legion side. Got a little greedy and paid for it slightly because that was not a trade they wanted. At the same time, it hasn't miserably affected the overall picture. I mean, Probusk is still crushing. Labyrinth is still doing well enough to carry late game if his farm starts to pick up when Probusk roams around the map and gets a bunch of kills, which I expect will be happening relatively quickly. By the way, he's going for Staff of the Master, so he's already got the Glowstone and is about 1,500 gold off of that, so we're probably looking at a 15-16 minute staff on this Chipper, and that's going to result in everybody on the Hellborn team dying. Anyway, top lane Kraken, going to be in some trouble, gets shackled, so no charge. Will not hit the pull, actually. He's going to release Kraken off. Tempest Hole catching 2, though, and that's going to prevent any follow-up damage. We'll see if they can get any kills out of this. Rockets get eaten by the creeps. Tempest definitely going to die here, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 so far, as Chipper says, yeah, I got some damage for you. Oh, Prisoner. Looking for the hook, not going to find it. That's a Legion Ward of Rev, by the way. It's going to counter the Hellborn Lane Ward, and that means that Revenant also will not be spotted. The Lane's played spinning on the creeps, because he can. So once again, the response, and this time it's from the Legion side. That means that Kraken will not die in vain. Revenant getting hit by the Shackle here, obviously that reveals him as well, and Engineer doing some damage. He's trying to finish off Iceland Go-Go, will be able to do so. Swift Slashes are available. Only level 1 though, because this Swifty is level 10, so they will in fact not choose to go for that fight. Prisoner probably a little bit too tanky to die there anyway without assistance from Empath, which would not have been guaranteed. And Hellborn picking up their first 3 kills of the game in somewhat quick succession. They're also giving up a couple, so it's still 11-3 advantage for the Dawn side, and their lead hasn't changed demonstrably, but I mean, if the Hellborn can keep the status quo for a little while, that'd be really good, because the later this game goes, the less a 5k gold advantage means. And that's going to be hard, because Kraken just bought Portal Key, and a 15-minute Portal Key on a Suicide Kraken is a very good timing. And then, of course, you have PK Chipper, so he, in fact, just got the Glowstone for the additional mana, it seems, and now he has got the Portal Key. I like that route, actually, quite a lot. Actually, and they're going to get the spin, and the Swift Slashes on Adro. He's real dead. Labyrinth will just decide to leave, chops on a tree, heads through the woods, and hey, look! Catlamane went bot! Look what happened! Probus killed him! Please stop. Please stop. Catlamane, please stop. It hurts now, alright? Why do you want to hurt me? Now they're going to die the Prisoner right here, because here comes Chipper off to the side. There's the Saw Blades, and yeah, good luck there, buddy. Labyrinth picking up the kill on that one, so again, a rotation from Chipper. I'm seeing a CC vote from Hellborn, and I don't blame him. I mean, if I were in their position, 14-3, get a Chipper at 450 gold per minute, and nobody on your team is farming higher than 280, and it's a Hag? What are you going to do? I mean, if I were Catlamane, I'd be spamming CC votes for the rest of this game. I'm just like, I'm done. What do you want me to do? If you're Madman, what do you want him to do? He can't farm the jungle, he can't farm the ancients, he can't farm mid, and he can't farm top. And he definitely can't farm bot. What do you do? There's nothing for him to do. This hero is going to have no impact on this game whatsoever. Because, I mean, Madman can be annoying, and he can run around and just be horrible. Anyway, Dust of Revelation does hit him, by the way. Kraken gonna charge the Prisoner. Saw Blades right on top of his face. Prisoner can't get anything out. Kexon does hit on Labyrinth, but that's going to not be too much. Release Kraken right on Tempest's face. That's a second kill. Swiftblade is going to die in response, so it's a 2-for-1 so far. But I think there could be more horrible things happening for the Hellborn team. Actually, Probusk out of mana at this point, and a health pot going through on Madman. He's got his ultimate active as well. Wall goes off, and that's going to prevent him from being able to get continuously aggressive onto this chipper. So the disengage happens from both sides, as neither of them really equipped to kill the others. And Legion side still coming out ahead as they pick off 2 for just the 1. Losing Labyrinth, not the greatest thing in the world, but they have enough behind him that he doesn't necessarily need 450 plus GPM to be an impact in this game, and for Dawn to win it, as they are once again substantially ahead. It looks like the CC from Hellborn was the fake CC. They're going to head middle with 2 heroes for no reason, so that bottom farm wouldn't want that. It's a bunch of free creeps. Veldrot will be broken right there by Prisoners. They just barely caught a glimpse of him. By the way, Empath picking up a Blood Chalice right there. It's interesting. Stop playing Kraken, finding some farm. And the 18-minute rune will be spawning here in 5 seconds, so obviously Legion side have vision of that with this Word of Sight. And to be a haste, bottled up by Kraken. Hellborn saw it with their Word of Sight, presumably. That after a ward should spot it. Out, middle lane. Chipper gonna get the jump and the kill on the Prisoner. Probusk finishing it off with some assistance from Empath and Kraken. That's gonna lead into a tier 1 tower push middle. So for their 17 hero kills in 18 minutes, which is pretty ridiculous for Dawn, they actually haven't taken too many towers. This tier 1 in the middle will be the second one of the game for them. So obviously not a pushing team by any means, and really only able to just mow down towers as a result of their overall impressive gold lead. I mean, I get why Hellborn, at least some heroes on Hellborn, or some players on Hellborn, don't want to concede, because if they win this game, they go to Diamond. So, in that sense, it's worth sitting in it, because I mean, maybe Cinder shows up and everybody in the Legion side gets DDoS to hell and you end up taking the victory. Stranger things have happened. The throws are always possible. But it's going to take a lot, I think, of misplays from Dawn to get this lead away. Anyway, like, Calamate, if you go to bottom again, I'm going to hit you. Anyway, top, just destroy Prisoner, so much for tankiest here on the Hellborn team. CC vote called again. We'll see if that one goes through. Map Blast did hit a couple of heroes, but didn't kill anybody, as Marcus Moy just does not have the damage at this point. He picked up a Light Brand, so he's trying to go the Grimoire route, and you can understand he's supposed to be the carry. He's trying to carry, and you need Light Brand to carry with Hag, but it's a 19-minute Light Brand, and it's going to be a 30-plus minute Grimoire, so it's not like it's actually going to be a valuable item by any means, especially because Probusk is just going to keep roaming around the map and jumping on your face and deleting you. Staff is finished on Chipper. So PK Staff combo, and I mean, that literally means anybody on the Hellborn team is dead if he catches them. Anybody will die, including Prisoner. I mean, Hag has Vestments, she's the only one, but she also has 872 health. And she's farming on 8 treads, because that's a great idea. Oh, top, and catch Adro, and kill him. I'm not even going to rewind and watch that, because I have to ban this guy from chat. Sorry. Stupid spammers. So Chipper killed Adro. Sorry, if that's something that you really desperately want to see, I can give you the match ID, and you can go down the download the replay and watch it. But I suspect we'll be seeing that again sometime soon. Release the Kraken right on Tempest's head, and Archer Tiger's dead. And there's nothing that anybody else can do about this. Hook actually will hit Kraken, so this should be a counter kill. I guess that's good. It doesn't matter, to be honest. I don't think it matters at all. Anyway, It's going to be another tower kill in the top lane for Probusk and Labyrinth, the dynamic duo here. Chipper shooting some flames out because of his staff. By the way, they finished off a tier 2 in the tower in the middle. I'm not sure if I remembered to say anything about that or if I even noticed. I don't know. Up top lane, it's going to be jump onto Labyrinth, and actually could be in some trouble. No, the Chipper Blades onto 3 heroes. Marcus Moy having run away. They will manage to kill Labyrinth, and that's the only one they're going to get. They still do manage to take the tower, so it's fine. Chipper had a bottom lane. Sorry, wanted to right-click the camera to respond to a question in chat and type something. Anyway, so I mean, sorry if I seem a little lackadaisical and less into this game, but I think this has been over for about 15 minutes now. So it's we're sort of just waiting for the formal concede. I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, the Legion have no chance of, or the Hellborn have no chance of coming back or stuff like that. I tend to be more of the anything is possible variety, but I mean, they're getting wrecked. Like this is not pretty, and they just don't have farm too. It'd be one thing if they were down and they had somebody to come back with, but okay, 370 GP on Hag, that's fine. Gonna have Grimoire at 24 minutes, so I'm sorry. So it's not gonna be a 30-minute Grimoire, it's gonna be a 24-minute Grimoire, but where's the comeback? Like, Calamane just can get nothing. He's gonna bait them out with an illusion in the bottom lane, so it's pretty funny. But the real one is back here, actually, and Empath's gonna find it with the Essence Link in the eye. I mean, yeah, he's dead again.
I like it when they call me Big Papa. What you gonna do about it?
Calamane has died 8 times in this game, and I'm pretty sure that 6 or 7 of them have come in the bottom lane. It's like he's got some sort of suicide wish. I don't know. But it's not necessarily a criticism even anyway. Middle lane, they're going to jump on a prisoner.
Serial killer.
He's got investments, he's got 1400 health, and he just melts. Last tier 2 tower will be taken out in the bottom lane as the entire Legion team converges to eliminate it. And this may be turning into a high ground push as well. Because at this point, if the Hellborn aren't going to concede, the Legion might just take it upon themselves to force a concede vote. Chipper picking up a Blessed Orb here, and that could be any number of things, to be honest. Could be a Sheepstick, try to lock down the Hag, because they don't want to let her get away. And that'd also help against the Madman, actually, so I'd like to see a Sheepstick very much. It would also mean that, once again, nobody's getting away from Chipper. I mean, it would be really mean that nobody's getting away from, like, really, because at least Madman and Hag, I guess, could blink or stalk away, so that left some possibility that people could run away from Probusk, but a Sheepstick will basically guarantee it because they love PK and Sheep. Could still be a Grimoire. Sure, why not? You're doing a bunch of magic damage, you might as well increase the amount of damage you're doing to keep up with vestments and increased health pools. I mean, there's almost no item that he could possibly get that I would have a serious problem with, because it wouldn't matter. Flying Courier will spot out the Kongor kill, but the Hellborn can do absolutely nothing about this. That is a PK, and he's working on Shrunken. Meanwhile, Madman is dead. Again, this time bot adjacent.
What you gonna do about it?
And not strictly in the lane, but still nearby the bottom lane. Actually, Labyrinth will get hooked out, immediately spins, actually turns this onto Omega. They will dodge the Kegstone right there, no problem. And pop the Energizer, run on out of there, back to Kongor. And they're doing this awfully slowly because they have a terrible Kongor killing team, but it just doesn't matter. We'll see who gets the Token of Life here. My guess is Swifty, but it looks like it's actually going to be Chipper, so it's Kind of surprising. Chipper has a lot more health,
Main target eliminated.
and he's got blink. So, and he's got range. Frostburn is going to be the item of choice on Swiftblade. And, so I mean, like, literally, like I said, any item is fine on Chipper. And get a Frostwolf Skull if you want to and slow people down. That's cool. Get a Grimoire. That's cool. Get a Sheepstick. That's cool. Get a Nullstone. Why not? Yeah. Blessed Brig is built into, like, a shit ton of things. Get a Geometer's Bane. Fine. It just doesn't matter at this point. Revenant, by the way, has picked up a push book, so that's going to be extremely helpful against both Engineer and Tempest, as well as potentially the Prisoner Ultimate. So, really like that decision. Kraken has a Shrunken Head after his Portal Key. I also like that decision a lot because right now, literally all of the Hellborns with damage is magical. Oh, they will catch out Swiftblade right here, but here comes Probusk. They put the energy field down, and Labyrinth is going to die. And that's why I would have put the token on Swiftblade, but they will get one kill on the Catlow Prisoner also going to die here, as that's going to be 2. Yes. So, Hugo gets one of those because can't let Probusk get everything. Meanwhile, Kraken going to have to pop his Shrunken Head. Release Kraken actually more or less whiffs entirely. There's a double damage Hag, by the way. Hit the Bat Blast onto Kraken, but he's just way too damn tanky to do anything about it. Or for that to do anything about it. Not him. Words are hard. Empath, by the way, that Blood Chalice. Still feel that's weird, but whatever. Madman is working on a Shrunken Head. I get it. I get why he's getting a Shrunken Head. I mean, it's probably what he should get. There's a bunch of magic damage in the Legion team. Madman needs to be mobile in these team fights. He can't get locked down and killed, especially if Chipper ends up going for a Sheepstick, which is pretty likely. But he just does no damage. He's 110-1. Let's look at the damage charts. He's got 6% damage. At least that's better than Empath, Revenant, Tempest, and Engineer. But it's not exactly an accomplishment. Probusk's at 28%. Nice Tempest Elementals, dewarding. Not bad. He's buying Veiled Rot. Why is he buying... Is Calamain just throwing at this point? I don't know. He's buying Veiled Rot for reasons. I guess they're trying to potentially get past any wards that could be there. So I get it for that reason, I guess. That's fine. I can't, like I keep saying though, I can't blame him. I mean, what's he going to do? He was never going to win that lane against Chipper and Revenant. Speaking of Revenant, he's going to run into 4 Veiled Rot heroes right there. They all get broken right when Swiftblade is there. He's going to get stunned, but there's the Swift Slashes, and is he going to kill Tempest? He's going to kill Tempest. He's going to try to chase down Tempest. Tempest is going to... Oh my god, no, it's just 2 heroes that are dying in the background. Meanwhile, Tempest's going to survive for the meantime, but there's a rocket that's going to spot him out. He has a Portal Key back up, and he's not going to matter. That's a hat trick for Probusk. They're going to try to catch Madman out here. Let's see if he can get into the lane before he dies. Or is he just going to be bot adjacent once again? He's in the lane? No, he's not in the lane. He's juking. He's going to hit by a rocket. That's in the lane. I'll count that as in a lane. Catlow with 11 deaths in this game. And, again, I want to say 9 of them came in this bottom lane. It's just a miserable time. Like, he's going to swear a blood feud against the bottom lane at this rate. Oh, God. By the way, remember early on in the game when I was like, they're going to rely on this Prisoner to be able to find the initiations that will set up the Tempest Ultimate, Bat Blast, and stuff like that? Prisoner has Steam Boots and that's it. Chipper going to get the Saw Blades in the background. Pretty easy kill onto Adro. And release Kraken, going to catch a couple of heroes actually. Tempest Hole locking down the entire Legion team. There's a Bat Blast as well. Revenant can be in a lot of trouble. They still do kill Archie Tiger as they finish off the Revenant with the Sonar Scream, but Marcus Moore dies for that. Immortal on Probusk as they manage to finish off the Aegis right there, but he actually blinks away after it brings him back up. He's got the focus buffer on. He's looking to get some help to get himself out of here. Labyrinth's going to TP on away. There's Catlow dying once. Probusk's just going to walk it on off. Now he's like, actually, let's stay and fight. Hag going to be able to blink on out of there and will be just fine. Prisoner also going to survive, but Madman dying for a 12th time because that's fun, and they cannot stop Probusk. He is unstoppable. And there goes Hag. Is he gonna die? Not gonna die. That's why you buy Grimoire, Probusk, you noob. Doesn't even know how to play Chipper. Unbelievable. Look, you missed the CS too. What is this bullshit? This guy's such a loser. PK Revenant? Sure. Fine. Kraken sitting on 3,400 gold. We'll see what he gets. My guess is a Bulwark into a Demonic Breastplate. It's going to help out the Swiftblade's right clicks as well as Chippers and his own damage. But plenty of ways you could go. Thunderclaw. You could go Frostfield. You could go Puzzle Box. It just doesn't matter at this point, like I said before. Empath. Staff of the Master Empath. She literally does not have to ever spend time outside of a hero, and that's going to continue in this top lane as Marcus Moy dies with Yugobic inside of Shipper. Prisoner going to get the Essence Link on him, and he's dead. Probusk is 17, 0, and 13. And hey, look, they conceded after like their 5th CC phone. Anyway, so game 3 right there. Gonna go to Dawn, and congrats to them. So, something I didn't mention enough during the game, but I've said it a couple of times before. That means that they will advance to Diamond Division for Cycle 7. As that means at the very least they will lose the Grand Finals, and just going to the Grand Finals means Diamond Division. So congrats to them, and that's a pretty big deal as well. And gonna see how they fare. CoolIo dropping what has to be a bit of a disappointing game right there, as I can't imagine anybody had fun. And I'm kind of surprised they didn't just CC it earlier, because yeah, they wanted to stick in because they had the chance to win and go to Diamond and blah 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 blah. But anyway, it probably wasn't going to work. So I feel like just get out of it. It's not worth wasting your time, to be honest. They wasted a bunch of time. They lost some morale. They will be dropped as Losers Bracket Finals, which means that they are one series victory away from getting to Diamond Division themselves, as if they can win that, they will be headed to the Grand Finals of Gold, and then Diamond Division for the next cycle, but not immediately. They have to at least do something else correctly. But they definitely put themselves in a good position to advance for next cycle, and we'll see if they can do that. And for the meantime, that will do it for this game and this series. Dawn taking a 2-1. Congrats to them.